Okay, and now come out.
I said there's no grenade!
In this video, I want to show you how we actually made Nerf War 4, giving a day-by-day account of what actually went on during our week in the lakes. I'm going to start by going through each day, talking about how and when we recorded each section, and then afterwards I'm going to put a nice long blooper reel with some of the shots that didn't quite make the cut, so make sure you stick around for that. Sunday was the first day of filming, and it was known as Jenny Day. Well, it wasn't, but that's what I'm calling it. Jenny had to be back in school on Monday morning, so we only had one day with her to record everything she was needed for. The first scene we actually shot was that bit in the barn where Jenny emerges from the curtain and shoots me and Chris. Now, something I'll mention is that me and Chris are both big fans of Edgar Wright, and the film Hot Fuzz in particular. I mention this because you'll probably notice a lot of artistic similarities between Hot Fuzz and Nerf War 4. Please don't sue us, Edgar. But anyway, after the barn stuff, we went to record Jenny getting tackled by Kelly. This was a lot of fun to record, and we got some funny takes, a lot of which will be at the end in the blooper reel. And something I'll mention is that Jenny hates acting and hates drama in general. There's no particular reason I'm mentioning this. Around midday, I was given the responsibility of shooting some of the girls' gear up scene while Chris had some lunch. I hadn't realised this at the time, but when I was looking back, I noticed a certain someone sat grazing on his soup in the background. I mean, it's not like it's obvious or anything. I think I need to book another optician's appointment. After that, we went to the woods area so we could get some shots of Jenny and Kelly shooting us, as well as some of just Jenny on her own. And now we come to one of the best moments in Nerf War 4. So the way we did this was actually quite simple. We had Jenny pick up the grenade and throw it at her feet, and then she just moved off camera, and then Chris just kind of shook the camera to simulate the explosion. We then paid someone with some actual talent to do the rest. Fun fact, the guy that actually did the graphics for Jenny's explosion has also worked on the actual Avengers Infinity War, so not a bad CV, is it? On Monday, Shannon arrived for 2 days to help out with the makeup and filming. Now, we've made really good progress on Sunday, so we were a little more relaxed on Monday. Big mistake. Chris went to pick up Shannon from the airport in the morning, so we only started filming at around 11:20. We spent the entirety of Monday up until about 7:30 in the evening filming the barn scene, and we didn't even finish it. I remember this day being defined by 4 words. Just one more take. Still get PTSD. We basically recorded from Chris and I walking into the barn up until Jenny shoots us just after coming out of the curtain, so we spent roughly 8 hours filming about 1.5 minutes worth of footage. At the end of the day, we were just sat there saying that we needed to speed things up, otherwise we just weren't gonna finish. We awoke on Tuesday morning with renewed vigour and started filming at about 7:30 in the morning. We spent the first 4 hours filming the rest of the barn scene, so from Jenny shooting us up until Chris saying,
I know a guy.
Having the barn door close on me as I was speaking was actually improvised. During one of the practice runs, it just happened and we thought it was quite funny, so we decided to keep trying it. Next, we filmed Kelly smashing through the door after Chris threw the grenade back at her. This was one of the more big budget action set pieces of the week because we'd bought 3 big panes of sugar glass from Pinewood Studios down in London. This meant we only had about 3 proper takes to get this right. We were stood around for quite a while trying to make sure it was all as safe as possible because, understandably, there were concerns that if Kelly landed awkwardly on a bit of shattered glass, then, you know, she could stab herself and then we'd need to recast her and there'd probably be quite a lot of paperwork. You know, we just wanted to avoid the hassle of Kelly dying. The nerves went after the first take as we realised how brittle the sugar glass really is. I think it's made of the same stuff as Chris's ankle and my knee.
You okay? That was amazing!
After that, we filmed the Kelly quick revive scene. If you haven't seen the old Nerf Wars, this was a reference to when Chris wrote quick revive on a can of Coke and fed it to chonky Ollie. And then we went down to the lake to record my death scene. Unfortunately, this has been cut from the video on Chris's channel because it was just a bit too gruesome. It was also a shame because Shannon had done such a good job with the makeup for the shotgun holes in my head, but I suppose these images will just have to live on my channel. On Wednesday, we spent the morning and most of the afternoon filming the first proper fight, from Chris chasing Kelly out of the kitchen to Kelly having the grenade thrown back at her.
Oh
The shot of the camera panning up to me after Chris had lit the beacons was actually filmed about 7 months later because we didn't have time to do it that week. But as I was at home, it meant that we could get the customary Max cameo. Max had managed to appear in each of the previous Nerf Wars completely by accident, but it was good that we could include him in this one too. Next we went back to the field and recorded the bit of Kelly running away and dropping the pistol, and then me and Chris chasing her, Chris taking an arrow to the knee, and then my final fight with Kelly up until I got shot. Slight side note, Chris got a lot of sheep poo on him when he was trying to get this shot, so A+ for effort.
I used to be an adventurer like you.
This day we didn't actually do a lot of filming because Chris and I went down to London to go and collect my wax model. But just because we had a train to catch at 10:30 didn't mean we could take a day off from the Nerf War, so we got up nice and early to start filming at about 10 to 7 in the morning, so just as the sun had come up. We started by getting the shot of Kelly grabbing the laptop so she could launch the Predator missile, and then we got a couple of Kelly and I shooting each other, and then we filmed Davey getting sniped by Chris. The unsung hero of the week, this man in his mid-50s just flinging himself to the floor time after time for the cause. What an inspiration to us all. We also recorded Get Help this morning, which was probably one of the most fun things we did that week. To get this shot, we bought a mannequin, which was actually a female model because it was cheaper and it also resembled my body a bit better. We dressed it up in my clothes, and then Chris and I got to launch it at Kelly, kind of similar to how they threw Will in the lake in Inbetweeners.
Biology!
We shot this about 3 times, one because we wanted to get the best shot possible, but also because 2 of us were enjoying ourselves. We then shot all of the Kelly bits from before and after Jenny's explosion, and then we got Kelly throwing the smoke grenade on the floor, and then on Friday we had a special visitor. On Friday, Stephen came up for the day. Stephen had actually helped us with some of the script writing and the build-up, and Chris decided to ask him if he'd like to be involved in the actual video, and he said yes. He actually arrived around midday on Friday, but we got up quite early and started filming at about 8 AM. Chris had gone to go and collect Stephen from the station, so it was just me and Kelly in the morning. We got some shots of me shooting at Kelly, and then we decided to try and get some shots of the Predator missile. Originally, I'd had this idea of having a large Nerf dart kind of hurtling towards the earth for this shot, so I was launching this Nerf dart into the air, and then Kelly was trying to track it with the camera on its way back down. I thought we got some cool shots of this, but when we showed it to Chris later, he just kind of laughed at it and it never made it in. Kelly and I also got some more shots for Jenny's death scene. We'd bought a string of raw sausages and some fake blood for this, and Kelly and I were basically just flinging this stuff around the field and just having a good time.
It just looks like a...
I'd like to take a moment to talk about the sausage shots, because after the first couple of attempts, the sausages didn't stay together very well, so our string of sausages fell apart a bit. Chris laughed at these shots as well, but I think this was a case of they were so bad that they were good, so they actually made it into the final cut. Then Kelly and I went back to the house, and I'd had this idea for in the first fight when Kelly and I saw each other for the first time. We could have had some nice intense close-ups on our eyes of us giving each other these death stares, but we just ended up with these cursed shots of me looking like I'm about to have a stroke. Still somehow made it into the final cut. But then Stephen arrived, so we went down to the lake to film his arrival scene. I have to say that when I was trying to come up with ideas for the Nerf War, and I knew that Stephen was potentially going to be involved, my mind just went straight to trying to have him as like this Nerf arms dealer, and I'm just so glad that we got to turn this into reality. We filmed Stephen's arrival scene, first with him landing on the beach, getting abused, and then removing his mask. Then Stephen comes out with this, and it just breaks Chris.
Don't mind these. Don't know what happens on those boat parties.
We decided to leave that little bit of Chris laughing in the final cut because we thought that it would be good to show you guys that we were enjoying ourselves too. We then got all of the cinematic shots of Chris and I gearing up, and these were then cuts between the shots we'd got of Kelly and Jenny earlier in the week. Next we got the shot of Did Somebody Order a Hero? This one just kept breaking both of us, to be honest. I mean, having Stephen just stare into your eyes like that, it's a look that should probably just be reserved for his girlfriend. Then we got to record Stephen's death scene. I was up by the tree when they were recording this, so I didn't really know what was going on, but I just kept hearing Chris and Kelly laughing as Stephen was trying to deliver his lines. We'd had this idea of Stephen just taking ages to die, and then eventually Chris just going up and shooting him. So he'd been told to improvise and just keep talking until that happened. We had to get so many takes of this because Chris and Kelly just couldn't keep it together. I'll show you why in the blooper reel at the end. But by about 4:30, we'd managed to get the the rest of the Stephen shots, so we were making good time and we had a couple of hours left of sunlight to try and get the rest of the woods and field stuff done. I got some fancy cinematic shots of Chris with the sniper, including a handheld dolly zoom because dolly zooms are cool. Next we got the shots of Chris running away from the Predator missile explosion. I'll edit in a side-by-side comparison of the shots before and after we added the graphics. And then we moved on to the final fight between Chris and Kelly. Well, it wasn't much of a fight. We thought about trying to choreograph like a proper sword fight between the two, but then we realised that that was going to be a lot harder than it looked, and we were also a bit worried about time, so we decided against that. But then we ripped off Thanos, we had the classic ending of the draw followed by panning over the corpses, and then we had our inspired outro of taking a dig at the first JJ versus Logan Paul boxing match. We were very proud of that one, but you have to bear in mind that this video was recorded in September 2018, and we thought it was going to be out Christmas that year, not April several months later, so the joke would have been a lot more relevant. But yeah, we filmed the rest of the outro, and that was Friday done. Saturday was our last day in the lakes, and we had to be out of the place by about 10 AM. Luckily we didn't have too much left to do, just the very beginning of the video, but again we got up nice and early to be filming by about 20 to 7. There's not too much I can say about this, we just kind of filmed the intro in chronological order. I want to give credit to Auntie Sam, so Chris's mum, for the idea for the intro. She suggested that someone could do something really bad and then be forgiven for it, and then straight away do something seemingly insignificant and causing everything to kick off. But then Chris pulls a gun out of the dishwasher, as you do, and then he shoots at Kelly, and then we get the shot of her running off, and by about 9 AM on Saturday morning we'd finished filming. If you've made it this far, well done. Your reward is the best part of the video, which is the blooper reel, so please enjoy.
And that's it! Maxi! The fourth Nerf War is finally finished, so I'm so taxing. Thousands of pounds invested in graphics and you just look pissed off. Take a look, Cal. I'm gonna go grab a cup of tea. Another cup of tea, you stupid man! Action. Oh wait, hang on. Sorry. It's gone. Oh. Bring me children. Action. I kinda like Sorry. Ollie!
Ollie, be more prepared.
I wasn't strong enough.
Action. Oh fuck. Action. Ouch.
Action!
Shannon!
Shannon! Action.
Will Scott. Not yet! But we expect Shannon! We'll see about that, Scott. Haven't seen his diss tracks. Damn it! I can't. We can't film the shot. He's too thick.
Hashtag break the internet.
What were you doing?
Nothing.
Jenny. Explosion! Action. Hey, you okay?
Ronaldo!
Sake. Janet. Blob, 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 blob. Blob, blob, blob. Blob. Ollie, just do a couple more grunts, more like maybe a pain, more like a
Sorry, Ollie. My foot slipped. I kicked it. My foot didn't slip that time, it skidded.
Well, I for one stayed in character. You should have so just passed that off. Damn it, that was probably the best one. Ollie, where's your line?
We're gonna need to resupply if we want to stand a chance against them. We're gonna...
I know a guy. Action. Action.
When's the next Olympics? Am I going the wrong way? That's one with the water. That's parked. Ahoy! Oh, don't mind then. Pop them back in my pocket.
I totally looked at the camera.
So did I. It's coming!
Requesting immediate backup, now!
Hi. So you order a hero?
Oh my god!
Hey. So you order a hero? My thighs are chafing, I tell you. I couldn't get round. Thighs are chafing! Oh, my sweet, sweet face! Oh dear, it's curtains for me. Good night, Vienna. I always... Well, you know what they say. Live a good life. Live a... Well, I don't know the phrase. I don't really know philosophy. Sit... Oh, no! I don't know! Looks like it's death's door for me. Knock, knock, who's there? Oh, crumb cakes. This has not gone as planned. Looks like I'm knocking on death's door. And guess who's in? Oh, it's death's wife. Is death in? Yes, he is. Looks like I'm knocking on death's door. And guess who's in? Oh, it's death's wife. Is death there? No, he's just having his tea. What's he having? It doesn't matter.
Throw. Good god, throw. Surely you would have... Oh, my groin! You ready, Ollie? Say action. Oh, I mean, there's only one thing we can do. I think we've got to have a rematch.
I brought my line.
Oh! You're right. Let's just forget any of this happened and call it a day.
Yeah, I can't wait to go home. I'm dying for a cuppa.
Action.
Literally.